There's a quiet but uncomfortable truth in today's chart, Scorpio. The more you try to make everything make sense on paper, the more likely you are to miss what your heart is trying to tell you. The pressure today is not just emotional, and it's not just practical, it's both. And the part most people overlook is that those two things are not fighting each other, they're revealing where the real issue has been all along. The bigger picture. From the Western perspective, Chiron turns retrograde in Taurus in your seventh house of partnership, and that puts relationship patterns under a slow, honest review. This is the territory of trust, reciprocity, reliability, and the places where you may have learned to brace yourself before anything even happens. Later, the Aries moon meets Saturn in your sixth house of work and wellness, which shifts the story from feeling into structure. The moon describes what you need emotionally in the moment. Saturn asks what can actually be sustained. Put together, this is a day for noticing where your emotional truth and your practical routines have not been speaking the same language. In Vedic tradition, the moon in Pisces adds a softer, more porous layer to the day, which can heighten intuition, coincidence, and the sense that someone enters your orbit for a reason. That does not mean every meeting is fated in a dramatic sense, but the cosmic weather does lean toward meaningful encounters and emotional recognition. And here's the unexpected part. Today is not asking you to choose between sensitivity and discipline. It is asking you to let sensitivity inform the discipline. That is the synthesis moment most people miss. Western astrology shows Chiron pulling old relationship wounds into view, while the Vedic tone of Pisces moon suggests a moment of emotional permeability and chance connection. Together, they describe a day when a conversation, a memory, or even a glance can expose something real, but only if you stay honest enough to feel it instead of managing it away. Love. This is where the chart gets personal. Relationship questions may feel louder than usual, and not in a surface-level way. Chiron retrograde in Taurus can reopen old material around rejection, compromise, or whether someone truly meets you halfway. A familiar pattern may return with different clothes on, and the test is not whether you can endure it, it's whether you can tell the difference between loyalty and unlimited access. If you're coupled, you may notice that the real issue is not the argument itself, but the old bruise underneath it. If you're single, the energy leans toward meaningful contact, especially through a coincidental meeting or an unexpectedly deep conversation. Just keep your feet on the ground. Attraction may arrive quickly, but trust still needs evidence. Let that sink in for a moment because this is the heart of the day. You do not have to ignore your intuition, but you also do not have to call suspicion intuition just because it feels familiar. The Vedic flavor of the moon in Pisces makes this especially important. It can soften your defenses and increase empathy, which is beautiful, but it can also make you absorb other people's mood before you've checked your own. So if someone new feels magnetic, stay open, just stay observant too. The best conversations today are the ones where you can speak without performing and listen without bracing for the worst. Career. At work, the Aries moon meeting Saturn in your sixth house points to a very specific kind of productivity. Repeatable effort, not dramatic effort, not emotional overinvestment. Repeatable effort. That's the theme. If you have been trying to force momentum through intensity alone, today may show you why consistency has more power than urgency. This is also where the day connects back to the relationship story in a subtle but important way. The same pattern that shows up in love, wondering whether someone will really follow through, can also show up in professional settings. So if a coworker, client, or collaborator says the right thing, but the structure isn't there, pay attention to the structure. Now, that sounds strict, but there's a gift hidden inside it. Saturn doesn't just reveal pressure, it shows you where real reliability can actually be built. If you've been sitting with an unresolved work matter, this is the moment to ask for the next concrete step. not the perfect explanation. A cleaner schedule, a clearer division of labor, a more realistic deadline. These small things matter more than you think. And if you're self-employed or running a business, the day favors practical adjustments over heroic leaps. The sky is not pushing you to do more. It's asking you to do what can be repeated tomorrow. Money. Money today is tied closely to emotional honesty. One of the source themes is almost blunt about it. If you focus only on the independence issue with money, property, possessions, or business rewards, you may sell your heart short. That does not mean you should ignore logic. It means logic alone may not be enough to make the right financial call. This is especially important with joint finance, shared expenses, or real estate decisions. If a choice looks smart but feels quietly wrong, pause before moving ahead. Scorpio is a water sign, and that means emotional information is information. If you've been feeling torn between what makes sense and what actually feels right, do not dismiss that tension. It is giving you a more complete picture than the spreadsheets are. The practical advice for today is simple. Avoid impulsive investments, keep your financial decisions clean, and do not rush into agreements just because you want relief from uncertainty. The energy favors review, not speculation. If a purchase, offer, or shared money arrangement requires a leap of faith, make sure it is not actually a leap over your own instincts. Health. Your body may be carrying more of this tension than you realize. The Aries Moon and Saturn combination in your wellness zone can show up as fatigue from pushing too hard, stiffness from sitting too long, or a general sense that life has become too mechanical. The fix is not dramatic, it is rhythmic. Move your body, stretch, hydrate, and return to a pace that your nervous system can actually trust. Here's what makes today stand out. The same cosmic pattern that exposes a bruise in partnership also asks for discipline in wellness. That means the real healing move is not just emotional insight, but a repeatable habit that proves to your body you are safe. Most people will try to solve this day by thinking harder. You will get further by living more steadily. That's the deeper message underneath the emotional weather. If you've been avoiding something because you hoped it would disappear, it probably won't. But if you name it and meet it with structure, it gets smaller. Eat simply. Choose foods that leave you feeling clear rather than heavy. And if you want to lean into the softer Vedic symbolism of the Pisces moon, anything calming and reflective may help: journaling, quiet time, or a short meditation. Some Vedic practitioners may recommend Saturn-related remedies such as specific gemstones or mantras for individuals whose birth charts support them. This is not universal advice. Gemstone prescription in Vedic astrology requires personal chart analysis. Home and family. At home, the day can feel like one of those moments when everyone is sensitive, but nobody wants to say it first. That does not mean conflict is inevitable. It means the atmosphere may be a little more porous than usual, so tone matters more than content. You may notice that a family issue is not really about the topic being discussed. It is about trust, timing, or feeling managed instead of respected. This is a good day to keep things simple. Be direct, but not sharp. Be honest, but not theatrical. If someone close asks for patience, ask yourself whether patience is actually helping or whether it has quietly become avoidance. The same theme from your partnership zone echoes here. Repair needs more than regret. It needs a different behavior next time. Socially, too, the chart suggests one small but meaningful opening, a chance encounter, a supportive message, or a conversation that starts casually may turn out to matter more than expected. The point is not to force connection. The point is to stay available to it. Travel in spirit. If you feel the urge to get away, even briefly, honor that impulse in a grounded way. The Pisces moon can make distant places, art, music, water, and culture feel especially nourishing today. For some Scorpios, a change of scene may be enough to reset the emotional static. If travel is on your mind, the energy leans toward places with texture and atmosphere rather than speed and noise. Spiritually, this is a day for turning inward without isolating yourself. That difference matters. Reflection today is not about disappearing from life. It is about seeing your patterns more clearly. And in a moment, I'll give you the one detail that ties the whole day together. Because once you see it, the rest of the reading clicks into place. What ties everything together is that today asks you to stop confusing emotional depth with emotional chaos. Those are not the same thing. Your depth is the gift. The chaos is only what happens when you refuse to organize it. That is the real spiritual assignment of the day, whether you meet it through prayer, journaling, prayerful silence, or a long walk where your mind can finally catch up with your feelings. Lucky signs. Your lucky color is white, which fits the softer, clarifying tone of the day. The most supportive time is between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. when conversations and connections may feel more fluid. Pisces energy is especially compatible today, and any calm, reflective, or emotionally intelligent person may feel easier to be around than usual. Today's guidance. Today is not asking you to become harder. It is asking you to become more precise. Be precise about what you feel, precise about what you need, and precise about what you will no longer confuse with love, loyalty, or logic. If a relationship pattern returns, do not panic, study it. If a work problem feels repetitive, simplify the system. If money decisions feel emotionally loaded, slow down enough to hear yourself clearly. The whole day is moving toward one truth. Healing happens faster when your emotions and your structure are finally on speaking terms. So keep the conversation honest. Keep the next step small. And if today reveals something you've been avoiding, treat that as information, not failure. That is how Scorpio turns pressure into power, not by pretending nothing hurts, but by refusing to abandon the truth once it appears.